Imagine for a moment that you are standing in a room full of people and everyone around you speaks perfect English. They laugh, they connect, they share ideas, and you want so badly to join in, but something inside holds you back. Maybe it's fear of making mistakes, maybe it's the worry of being judged, or maybe it's just that you think you're too slow to learn. But let me tell you something. Every single person who speaks English today once stood exactly where you are right now. The truth is, speaking English fast is not about talent, it's about belief. It's about daring to open your mouth even when you're not sure if the words are perfect. Think about it. Babies don't wait until they know every word in their language before they start speaking. They speak broken sentences, they stumble, they laugh at their mistakes, and that is exactly why they learn so quickly. Why can't you do the same? The biggest enemy you face is not grammar, it's not vocabulary. It's the voice in your head telling you, I can't. That voice is lying to you. The moment you ignore it, you become unstoppable. Don't wait for the perfect day. Don't wait until you've memorized thousands of words. Start speaking today. Speak with confidence, even if it's just a few words. Every mistake you make is a step forward. Every wrong sentence is proof that you're trying, and every attempt brings you closer to fluency. Remember, confidence creates speed. The more you believe in yourself, the faster you will speak. People will not laugh at your mistakes. They will admire your courage. And even if some do laugh, let them. Because one day, those same people will hear you speak fluently and they will wonder how you did it so fast. So ask yourself right now, how badly do you want it? Do you want to keep waiting or do you want to take control? Speak today, speak tomorrow. Speak until your voice becomes stronger than your doubt. You don't need to be perfect to begin, but you must begin to be perfect. When you first begin this journey, the most important step, the very first step of learning, is understanding that perfection is not required. In fact, waiting for perfection is the biggest mistake most people make. They tell themselves, I'll start speaking English when I know enough words, or I'll try when my grammar is strong. But the truth is, that moment never comes. If you wait for perfection, you will wait forever. Think about how children learn to speak. Do they sit down with grammar books? Do they wait until they can form perfect sentences? No. They start with broken words, mispronounced sounds, and incomplete thoughts. Yet nobody tells them, stop speaking until you're perfect. Instead, they are encouraged, they are applauded for trying, and because of that encouragement, they learn faster than anyone else. The same rule applies to you. If you want to speak English fast, you must accept that mistakes are not barriers. They are stepping stones. Every mistake you make is living proof that you're moving forward. When you say something wrong, your brain doesn't just forget it, it learns. That's how growth works. Imagine if you were trying to ride a bicycle but told yourself, I will only ride once I know I won't fall. You would never touch the bike. You would stand on the sidelines, watching others pass you by. But the moment you allow yourself to fall, to wobble, to look awkward, you begin to balance. It is in falling that you learn to ride, just as it is in making mistakes that you learn to speak. So many people fear embarrassment more than they desire growth. They worry that someone will laugh at their pronunciation or that others will correct their grammar. But let me ask you, what is worse, a few seconds of laughter or a lifetime of silence? You see, embarrassment lasts for moments, but regret lasts forever. If you remain silent because of fear, you will carry that silence with you for years. But if you dare to speak even with mistakes, you will grow. And soon those same mistakes will turn into strength. Perfection is a trap. It whispers, wait a little longer, you're not ready yet. But the truth is, you were ready the moment you decided you wanted to learn. The first step is never about being flawless. It is about being brave. Brave enough to speak when you're unsure, brave enough to keep going when you stumble, and brave enough to laugh at your own mistakes. And let me tell you this, people respect courage. They don't respect silence. When you try, even imperfectly, you show effort, and effort inspires others. Someone who watches you struggle today may come to you tomorrow for advice, simply because you had the courage to start. Think of your mistakes as your teachers. Every time you pronounce a word incorrectly, it teaches you the right way. Every time you use the wrong tense, it plants the correct form in your mind. These small errors are like seeds. They may look messy at first, but in time, they grow into fluency. Without mistakes, there is no growth. Without growth, there is no speed. The biggest shift happens when you change how you see errors. Instead of saying, I failed, you must say, I practiced. Instead of saying, I made a mistake, you must say, I learned something new. This change in mindset is the very beginning of confidence. And confidence, more than anything else, is what pushes you to speak faster, louder, and clearer. So take that first step right now. Speak without waiting for the right time. Speak without waiting for perfection. Remember, the road to fluency is not built with perfect sentences. It is built with imperfect attempts that slowly shape you into a confident speaker. Every broken word you speak is a brick in that road. Every mistake you make is cement that holds your learning together. Perfection is not the goal at the start. Progress is, and progress is born only when you allow yourself to be imperfect. Once you have taken that first step of accepting imperfection and daring to speak, the next powerful truth you must embrace is this: confidence matters more than grammar. Many people believe that to speak English fast, they need to master every rule, every tense, and every structure before opening their mouth. But here's the reality: grammar is knowledge, and knowledge without courage is useless. Confidence is the real engine that moves your words forward. Think about it. How many times have you stayed quiet in a conversation, even when you knew the right words? How many opportunities have passed by simply because you were too afraid to speak them out loud? This proves something very important. It's not that you don't know enough English, it's that you don't trust yourself enough to use what you know. And that lack of trust keeps you stuck, repeating the same cycle, day after day. Confidence is what turns knowledge into action. A person with little grammar but strong confidence can communicate far better than someone who knows all the rules but is too afraid to speak. Why? Because language is not just about being correct, it's about being understood. And when you speak with belief, your words carry power, even if they are not perfect. Picture yourself walking into a room where everyone speaks English. If you whisper, hide your eyes, and look down at the floor, people won't listen. But if you stand tall, look them in the eye, and speak with energy, people will lean in to hear you. The same words, spoken with confidence, have a completely different impact. Confidence transforms your voice. It gives life to your words. It makes people respect your effort and listen to your message, not your mistakes. You might say, but what if I get it wrong? And I will say, so what? Getting it wrong while speaking with confidence is still a victory, because you showed courage, you pushed yourself forward, and you created a chance to improve. On the other hand, staying silent to avoid mistakes is the greatest loss. You learn nothing from silence. This is why confidence is the true foundation of speaking fast. When you stop worrying about being perfect, your mind is free. Your sentences flow naturally, your words come out quicker, and you stop wasting time correcting yourself in every line. Grammar may give you structure, but confidence gives you speed. Think of it like driving a car. Grammar is the road. It shows you where to go, how to stay in your lane, and how to reach your destination safely. But confidence is the fuel. Without fuel, the car doesn't move. You may know every road rule, but if you don't have the courage to drive, you'll remain stuck in the same place. Confidence is what gets you moving. And here's the beauty of it. Confidence doesn't come from waiting, it comes from doing. The more you speak, the more you push yourself into conversations, the more you will feel it growing inside you. You can't build confidence by thinking. You build it by speaking, by trying, by daring to be heard. Let me share a truth with you. Most people are not judging you as much as you think. They are not counting your grammar mistakes. They are not analyzing your every word. They are simply listening to the message you are trying to share. When you focus too much on grammar, you paralyze yourself. But when you focus on connection, on the emotion and meaning behind your words, you free yourself, and freedom leads to fluency. Every great speaker you admire once spoke with hesitation. They too struggled with pronunciation, with tenses, with vocabulary, but they had one thing in common. They believed in themselves enough to keep speaking. Confidence carried them when grammar could not. And eventually, confidence helped their grammar improve naturally, because practice shapes skill. So remember this: when you speak English, people don't just hear your words, they feel your energy. If your energy is fearful, they feel hesitation. But if your energy is confident, they feel strength. That strength is what draws people to you, what makes them listen, and what helps you grow faster than you ever imagined. This is why confidence is not just an accessory. It is the very first step of learning after you accept imperfection. With it, you can move mountains. Without it, even the smallest sentence feels impossible. The faster you build your confidence, the faster you will speak English, and the faster your life will transform. Once you have embraced imperfection and discovered the power of confidence, the first step of learning that naturally follows is understanding this simple truth. Every attempt, even a broken sentence, takes you closer to fluency. So many learners believe that if their sentence isn't complete or correct, it doesn't count. They think only perfect attempts matter, but that belief is what holds them back. The reality is that every attempt, no matter how small, no matter how broken, is a step forward. Think of it like climbing a mountain. Each step, even the unsteady ones, takes you higher. You don't reach the top by waiting for the perfect step. You reach it by moving, one step at a time. When you try to speak English, even with mistakes, you are training your brain to think in a new rhythm, a new pattern. You are teaching your tongue to shape new sounds, your mind to form new connections. This training doesn't happen in silence. It happens in action, in trial, in error. Every time you attempt a sentence, you are literally rewiring your brain for fluency. Think about how a baby learns to talk. They don't wait until they know the full sentence, "I want to drink water." Instead, they say, "water," or maybe just "wah." It's broken, but it works. Their parents understand, they respond, and slowly, with every attempt, the child's sentences grow longer and clearer. This is how learning works for you too. Your broken sentences are not failures. They are the very foundation of your fluency. The biggest mistake is believing that broken attempts are useless. They are not. In fact, they are priceless. Every time you try, you are gathering the courage to go further. Even if your sentence has mistakes, even if people don't understand you the first time, you are still building the habit of speaking. And habits, repeated daily, transform into skill. Imagine this. If you make 10 broken attempts today, you are 10 steps closer to fluency than the person who stayed silent to avoid embarrassment. If you attempt 100 sentences this month, even if 90 of them are imperfect, you are still miles ahead of the one who tried none. Silence teaches nothing, but attempts, even broken ones, teach everything. What most learners don't realize is that broken attempts give you feedback. When you speak and someone doesn't understand, your mind remembers that. The next time you adjust. When you mispronounce a word and someone corrects you, you improve. But if you never attempt, you never learn, and you never grow. This is why you must value every small attempt. Don't wait for long speeches. Don't wait to know everything. If all you can say today is, "I go market," say it. Yes, it's broken, but it's a start. Tomorrow it will be, "I go to the market." A week later, "I am going to the market." And soon enough, it becomes natural. But that progress only happens if you allow yourself to start broken and build from there. Every attempt also builds momentum. The more you try, the more your fear fades. The first broken sentence feels scary, but the 10th feels easier, and the 100th feels natural. Fluency is not born in one day. It is built through thousands of small, imperfect attempts that pile up into strength. And here's something powerful. People don't remember your mistakes as much as you think they do. What they remember is your effort, your willingness to try, your courage to speak. Your broken sentences might even inspire someone else who is too afraid to start. By daring to attempt, you not only grow yourself, you also give others permission to grow. So never underestimate the power of your attempts. They may not sound perfect, but they are planting seeds of fluency deep inside you. With each attempt, your brain adapts, your confidence grows, your sentences become smoother. That is the first real step of learning, trying, even when it's messy, even when it feels uncomfortable. Because at the end of the day, fluency is not built in silence. It is built in attempts, and every attempt, no matter how broken, is proof that you are on your way. After you've accepted imperfection, built confidence, and allowed yourself to make broken attempts, the first step of learning that becomes absolutely necessary is this: recognizing that the real enemy is not a lack of words or grammar, it is the fear inside your mind. Think about it. How many times have you had the right word in your head but stopped yourself from saying it? How many times have you understood what someone was saying in English but froze when it was your turn to reply? It wasn't because you didn't know enough, it was because fear took control. Fear of being wrong, fear of being laughed at, fear of not being good enough. And that fear is stronger than any grammar mistake, stronger than any missing vocabulary. The truth is, most people don't fail at learning English because they're not smart enough. They fail because they let fear silence them. Fear whispers, "Don't speak, you'll embarrass yourself. Don't try, people will judge you. Don't attempt, you're not ready." And the more you listen to that voice, the louder it becomes, until one day you believe it completely and stop trying at all. But here's the secret. Fear is a liar. It exaggerates your mistakes. It magnifies your weaknesses. It makes you believe that people are paying far more attention to you than they actually are. In reality, most people are too busy with their own lives to count your mistakes. They aren't sitting there with a notebook writing down your errors. They're simply listening, trying to understand your message. But fear blinds you from seeing that truth. Fear is like a shadow. The closer you are to the light of growth, the bigger the shadow looks. But if you dare to walk through it, you'll realize it was never solid. It could never actually stop you. That's why the first step of learning at this stage is not collecting more vocabulary, not memorizing grammar rules. It is defeating that inner fear. Because once fear loses its grip on you, your progress becomes unstoppable. Ask yourself honestly, what is fear protecting you from? Is it protecting you from laughter, from a few raised eyebrows, from being corrected? None of these things can truly harm you. In fact, they can only help you. A little laughter toughens you, a correction improves you, and a mistake teaches you. Fear pretends to protect you, but in reality, it is keeping you locked away from the very experiences that would make you fluent. Imagine two learners. One has a dictionary full of words but is too afraid to use them. The other knows only a handful of phrases but uses them every single day, fearlessly. Who do you think will improve faster? Of course, the second one. Because courage always beats fear, and practice always beats silence. When you speak with fear, your sentences break down, your mind goes blank, and your words disappear. But when you speak with courage, even if you don't know everything, your brain fights to find a way. And every time you fight through fear, you win a small victory. Those victories add up until one day, speaking English no longer feels like a battle. It feels natural. The first step to breaking fear is acceptance. Accept that fear will always try to show up when you attempt something new. That nervous feeling in your chest before you speak, that's not a sign to stop, it's a sign you are growing. Growth always feels uncomfortable. The trick is not to wait for fear to disappear, but to move forward with it. Speak even when your voice shakes. Speak even when your hands tremble. Speak even when fear screams, "Stop," because every time you do, fear loses power. And here's something powerful. Courage is contagious. When you stand up and speak, even with mistakes, you inspire others around you. You show them that fear can be defeated, that courage matters more than perfection. And suddenly, you're not just learning for yourself, you're leading by example. Remember, the greatest battles in learning English are not fought on paper, not in grammar books, not in vocabulary lists. They are fought in your mind. The voice that says, "I can't," is far more dangerous than any difficult word or confusing rule. But the moment you silence that voice with action, you open the door to fluency. So, the first real step of learning after broken attempts is to confront fear head on. Not to wait until you feel brave, but to act despite the fear. Because once you do, the enemy inside you shrinks, your confidence expands, and your journey towards speaking English fast becomes unstoppable. Once you have accepted imperfection, built confidence, practiced broken attempts, and faced your inner fear, the first step of learning that takes you to an even higher level is this: speaking today, no matter how imperfect, because every word you speak today creates the speed you dream of tomorrow. Too many learners keep waiting for the right moment. They say, "I'll start speaking once I learn more words. I'll practice when my grammar is better. I'll join conversations when I feel ready." But here's the truth. If you keep waiting, you'll never feel ready. The right moment will never come, because readiness is not something you wait for. It's something you create. And the only way to create it is by speaking now. Think about how long you've wanted to speak English fluently. Days, months, maybe years? Now ask yourself, what would have happened if you had started speaking a little every single day from the very first moment you decided to learn. You would already be fluent today. The only reason you're not there yet is because you hesitated, because you postponed, because you let fear and perfection steal your time. That's why the first step of learning at this stage is not to wait for tomorrow, but to speak today. Every single day you stay silent is a day lost. Every single day you avoid speaking, you are strengthening your fear instead of your voice. But the moment you open your mouth and speak, even if it's wrong, you are strengthening your fluency. And the faster you begin, the faster your brain adapts, the faster your tongue adjusts, and the faster you grow. Fluency is not something that suddenly appears after years of study. It is built in the present moment, one sentence at a time. If you say one broken sentence today, you are faster than the person who stayed silent. If you say 10 sentences tomorrow, you are 10 steps ahead of who you were yesterday. This is how speed is born. Not in waiting, not in planning, but in speaking right now. Many learners imagine fluency as something that will magically arrive in the future, but fluency is not a destination. It's a process. And the process starts the second you decide, I will speak today. You don't need perfect grammar. You don't need advanced vocabulary. You don't need to sound like a native. What you need is the courage to start now. Think of it like running. The first run is always slow, always clumsy, always difficult. But each time you run, your muscles grow stronger, your speed increases, and your stamina builds. Language works the same way. The first sentences may come out slowly, the words may feel heavy, the grammar may collapse, but that's your training. And the more you speak today, the faster your fluency muscles grow. Here's something powerful. The brain learns faster through use than through memorization. You could spend hours memorizing vocabulary lists and grammar rules, but the moment you actually use those words in real conversations, your brain locks them in. Speaking today activates real learning. It transforms theory into practice, knowledge into skill. And the beauty is, you don't need a stage, you don't need an audience, you don't even need perfect partners. You can speak anywhere. Speak in front of the mirror. Speak to yourself while walking. Speak to friends, even if they don't reply in English. Speak to strangers, even if it feels uncomfortable. Every attempt today is a deposit into your fluency bank, and those deposits grow into wealth over time. The biggest myth is believing that fluency will come later. No, it only comes when you practice now. That's why this is the first step of learning after you've overcome fear, the step of action. Because action is always more powerful than intention. You don't become fluent by wishing, you become fluent by speaking. So let me ask you, how many more days will you wait? How many more chances will you let pass? How much longer will you stay silent while the world moves forward? The truth is, the only difference between someone who speaks fluently and someone who doesn't is that one of them started speaking sooner. The sooner you start, the sooner you win. Every single word you speak today, right now, is a seed. Plant enough of them, and soon you will stand in the garden of fluency. But if you never plant, nothing grows. That's why today matters more than tomorrow. Your speed, your fluency, your success, it all begins the moment you decide to stop waiting and start speaking. After you have dared to speak today and break free from waiting for the perfect moment, the first step of learning that will transform everything is realizing this. Your voice becomes stronger than your doubt the moment you choose courage over fear. Doubt has always been there, hasn't it? That quiet voice inside whispering, what if I sound stupid? What if people laugh? What if I never get fluent? At first, that voice feels louder than your own. It feels like a wall standing between you and the fluency you dream of. But here is the truth you must understand. Your voice is stronger than your doubt if you allow it to speak. Every time you open your mouth, even when doubt tells you to stay silent, you weaken its grip. Each word you speak is a hammer breaking that wall down, brick by brick. At first, your doubt may scream louder than your courage, but courage grows with use. The more you practice, the more you speak, the more your voice begins to rise and your doubt begins to shrink. This is the first step of real transformation, realizing that doubt is not the truth, it is only a thought. It is not your destiny, it is only your fear. And the way to defeat it is not by waiting for it to disappear, it's by drowning it out with your own voice. Imagine standing on a stage. Doubt is the voice backstage telling you, don't go out there, you'll fail, they'll laugh. But if you take one step forward, Walk onto that stage and say even a single word, you prove the voice wrong. The audience doesn't throw stones, the world doesn't collapse, and suddenly doubt begins to lose power. That's how it works in your daily life too. When you speak in English, at work, with friends, with strangers, you show yourself that doubt was lying all along. Your voice is a tool. It carries more than just words. It carries your courage, your determination, your energy. When you let it out, it becomes stronger than the whispers of insecurity in your head. That is why speaking daily is so important. It is not just about practicing English, it's about practicing courage. And the more you practice, the more your courage outweighs your doubt. Think of doubt like darkness in a room. It feels overwhelming until you switch on the light. Your voice is that light. Even the smallest spark of courage can chase away the biggest shadow of fear. You don't need to erase doubt completely to move forward. You just need to make your voice louder than the doubt inside you. And here's the most beautiful part. Your voice doesn't only grow stronger for you, it inspires others too. When you speak, when you dare to try, when you keep going despite mistakes, other learners see you and think, if they can do it, so can I. Your courage becomes a flame that lights the path for others. Doubt tries to silence you, but courage makes you a leader. Remember, fluency is not just about words, it is about presence. And presence is built when your voice carries conviction. Even if your grammar is broken, even if your sentences are simple, when you speak with courage, people listen. They feel the strength behind your words, not the weakness of your mistakes. That strength is what pushes you forward faster than anything else. So the first step of learning here is not about memorizing more words. It's about choosing your voice over your doubt. Each time you face a choice, stay silent or speak, you must choose to speak. Each time doubt tells you to stop, you must push yourself to continue. And slowly, that choice becomes habit. That habit becomes confidence, and that confidence becomes fluency. Doubt will always try to live in your mind, but it can never survive where courage speaks louder. The day you decide that your voice deserves to be heard more than your fear deserves to control you, that is the day everything begins to change. Your voice is your power. It is the bridge between who you are now and who you want to become. And when you make it stronger than your doubt, nothing, no mistake, no criticism, no fear can stop you from speaking English fast, clear, and with confidence. So now the question is not, can you do it? Because you can. The question is, will you do it? Will you speak today, even if your sentences are broken? Will you push past fear, even when it screams at you to stay silent? Will you believe in your voice, even when doubt tries to hold it down? The truth is, fluency is not a gift given to a chosen few. It is the reward for those who dare to keep speaking. Every word you say is a step forward. Every mistake you make is proof that you are alive, learning, growing. And every moment you choose courage over fear, you are creating a new future for yourself. Your voice matters, your dreams matter, and the world is waiting to hear you. Don't let fear steal another day. Don't let doubt silence the message inside you. Speak now. Speak tomorrow. Speak until English is no longer just a language you learn, but a part of who you are. Because the faster you dare to speak, the faster your life will change. And one day, you'll look back and realize, the only thing that ever stood in your way was the moment you hesitated. But today, that hesitation ends. This is your moment. Open your mouth, let your voice rise, and show the world who you are.